Hey guys, today is I haven't made a video for a while. Sorry about that. Today is October 28th, 2020. Let's take a look at the market today. The market has made a major move. It seems that today was a down day. It was a kind of large move since a while, since September, and it seems that we failed to reach the all-time high. Right. Previously, I've been talking about the market is going to attempt all-time high, but eventually we did not get there. We were not able to make all-time high, and we got pretty much rejected right now. So what's gonna come next, right? We have pretty much got away from this particular trend line. I'm gonna turn off the lock chart. You can see that we got off this particular trend line that we have been following since the early March, and the market right now has taken a abrupt turn, and I believe that we are probably going to consolidate through time or consolidate through price. So you can see that we have basically reached a stage like this where we had a major kind of top, came up and reject again, then the market kind of went horizontal after that. And I think that's going to be the case here as well. I am expecting prolonged volatilities, that's upcoming volatilities, and especially coming into election. It's really hard to tell where this market is going to go, actually. It's very hard to tell. But I have a few guesses. One thing is that I believe that after election, we will have a bounce. So we are not far from election. So November 3rd will be the election result. So after the election result comes out, I believe the market is going to bounce pretty heavily. And how it's going to bounce, how far it's going to bounce, I don't really know. But I expect this is going to be a bounce. Once after the bounce, I don't think we are going to break the all-time high. Not that quick, right? It might take a while for us to consolidate in this area and then attempt for all-time high and continue to go up. So I believe after the bounce, we're probably going to have more volatility that's upcoming. Probably making a low, and eventually that we are going to move to the upside. But that's going to take a long time, a relatively long time. I believe after the election pump, and that's after the election. If we do have that, the market is going to have a prolonged, maybe a several month correction. That's just grinding down to the downside, but it's not going to be as quick as this. But it's going to be a grind down of it's going to wear a lot of people out, and eventually it's going to bottom. Then we're going to pick up again, move to the upside. So that is my expectation in this environment right now. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the stock I've been holding. So I haven't really updated my video, but I have been shorting the Canada Goose. So you can see that Canada Goose basically broke apart. I literally entered my short at this particular level around 35-ish, and now it has gone down. I am expecting this particular stock. The reason I'm using this particular stock as a short target is because there's so much people trapped up here, right? Trapped on, in this zone. You don't have to be a genius to see there's a lot of people trapped up there, and the market is not going to be so merciful and just wind up and take everyone out. I mean, making everyone break even, making everyone happy. The market is never about making the majority happy, and the majority right now is still not happy because it's barely. A lot of people barely broke even if you bought, in this area for the last 2 years, right? It's almost a year or 2 years time period. So let's take a look at this, how long this was. So this was a 881 day period. So if you bought for 987 days, you would still be losing money even today, right? So if you bought at a wrong time, you're kind of screwed. And this period is 639 days. Anyways, 2 years. and that's a long time. So a lot of people who bought during that 2 years, they're still losing money. They're still losing money, and they probably, some people probably sold here. You can see the price got immediately rejected, and I think this is just a huge sign of weakness. And I believe that if the market does bounce after election, this particular stock is going to make a head and shoulders pattern. That's a classic pattern. Then it's going to come down and continue to go down. And eventually it's going to bottom out and rise up again. Because this particular company does have a strong fundamental, but in the short term, I'm pretty bearish. I think that we are probably going to retest the sub-20s level for this particular stock. Okay, and the other one I am shorting right now. Actually, I just entered my short position yesterday, and it has it's doing pretty well so far. So I entered my short position right here at this particular bounce for Ethereum. I also entered a little bit of short position here for Bitcoin. One thing I entered way more shorts in Ethereum, because you can see that despite the Bitcoin strength, due to the news from PayPal, if you have been following Bitcoin, that PayPal have made an announcement that they are allowing all their users to buy Bitcoins, and that is huge news because PayPal has hundreds of millions of users. And that means more demand for Bitcoin. It means the price is gonna go up. But once the news comes out, usually what happens is that the large money, they are using the Bitcoin as a way to use the news, use that extra liquidity as ways to get out. You can see that the Bitcoin here does have a right here has a lot of volume, relatively very high volume at these levels, at very high levels. That means despite this kind of really high volume, you can see that the price doesn't really continue to go up to the upside. You actually stop and consolidate here, and that is a sign of weakness, and it's usually a sign of that there are actually huge buyers here to absorb all that volume at this high level. They're just dumping here, and that is my hypothesis, right? Because this thing is still kind of in a uptrend. So I'm not shorting Bitcoin that much, just a little bit. I actually planning to recover it. But Ethereum is a different story, right? Ethereum, you can see Bitcoin's strength didn't really bring a higher high in Ethereum, right? Ethereum basically couldn't even go above this particular level where a lot of people got trapped, and it basically got rejected consistently through this level. And I think what's really happening here is that Ethereum is just not enough buyer in this one. And I think what's going to happen in my previous video to talk about this is that this thing probably going to come down, probably bouncing around, eventually going to break down to the downside, and we will be seeing Ethereum pretty soon at below 200. I think that big kind of a correction is coming in the next few months, so we have to be aware of this. And it's definitely right now is not good, absolutely not a good time to long this Ethereum, long this one. The reason is Bitcoin making all-time high, making making a new high in for a while, since like 2019, I believe. But Ethereum failed to follow, right? This one is weak despite a strong cryptocurrency market. So this just tells me that there's just not enough buyers here. The buyers or the whales in Ethereum, they're not planning to bring this thing to the upside anytime soon. I think if they don't do that, if they're not planning to do that, what they're going to plan to do, right? This thing, the price has to come down, watch a lot of people out, attract more buyers at a lower level, attract more whales at a lower level. They're willing to take a lower price, accumulate their position, then this market is going to move, right? Again, Ethereum is a huge asset class. It has about a $14 billion in market cap right now, so it's a huge company. If you think about from a company perspective, this is a huge company. This is a $44 billion company, and it could it takes a lot of money to move Ethereum now. Okay, so you have to be patient. So I believe a huge move that's upcoming is going to come down, and there's going to be more opportunities to buy at the lower price level. So if you are thinking about adding to your Ethereum position, definitely don't do that. Definitely wait for a better entry for sure. The probability is extremely high. Okay, I think that's all I want to talk about, and see you next time.